Hello everyone, this is your girl Amaka Okocha on our episode today. And funny enough and surprisingly, today is the Lovers' Day, the Valentine, and I have a guest today. Unfortunately, we cannot bring our guest to the camera, but don't worry, one day he's gonna come to the camera. Our guest is amazing, wonderful, and I call him my completion. And some of you might have heard me speak about my completion. And when I talk about relationship, what do you take your spouse to be? How do you consider your spouse in your life? You know, what place do you give to your spouse? I call him my completion. And over here I have Maxwell Okocha. Max, could you say hi?
Hello.
Okay, one aspect of Max that, some of you that know him will know is that he's not the camera person. You will hardly see him, his picture on the social media. He said, no. When I was discussing about knowing when to draw the boundary, understanding your spouse, I remember I mentioned it in one of the episodes, maybe in November. I said, you have to know the things your spouse wants, the things he loves, and the things she loves, the areas you shouldn't cross the line. And one of the lines I know from my sweetheart is no social media. And I respect him for that. It's been very wonderful knowing that it's not everybody that likes, say cheese, take a selfie. It's not everybody. He likes pictures, but definitely not on social media. And welcome to our wonderful episode today. If you need to send us emails, maybe from what you've watched in the past, please do so by sending it to captivatedbyufedo@gmail.com. You will see that maybe below. It will be, the information will be displayed, captivatedbyufedo@gmail.com. Like we always say, this is a relationship channel. It is a Christian-based channel. A lot of you have asked me, why do I like to make that disclosure all the time? I kept on doing it because I've heard some people say, oh, it's not everyone that are Christians, so why say things like, oh, Jesus, why say things like the Bible said? Yes, because the disclosure is always there. If you're a Christian that wants your marriage to be fixed, welcome to our channel. If you believe in bended knees, that I can go on my knees to fix whatever challenges, be it with your spouse, be it with your children, be it with yourself at work. Whatever that happens to us at work, we tend to bring it back home, and we tend to transfer aggression towards our spouses, towards our children. When you listen to us in this channel, you know that there are some things, garbages you don't bring home. I call it excess luggage. Don't bring it home. The moment you come to the door, drop it and come home. Let there be that smile, that beautiful moment in your marriage when you step in. And like I will always say, please subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you get notified whenever we upload our new videos. And welcome. Get your cup of tea because we're going to have a very beautiful discussion today. Our journey wonderfully so far. So, my sweetheart, I call him Obim. He calls me honey, and I love it. I call him a lot of things. What do I usually call you? Obim, honey? Or when I need something from you, what do I call you? You don't pay attention to that, Okay. Could you be audible a little bit so everyone will get to hear you? Usually today is a day we Christians, especially some of us that are Catholics, look at it as Saint Valentine's Day. But the secular world will look at it as today is the Lovers' Day. You're my lover, you're my sweetheart. But our journey have been since going to 25 years now. Wow.
To the glory of God.
To the glory of God. And what has it been like for this journey? Being married to somebody like me. How has it been?
Yes, to the glory of God. Again, it's been wonderful. I can't thank God enough. As I always say, this ours is the wedlock of God.
I've heard that more than 24 times.
Yeah, when your good Lord is in total control, you don't have anything to worry about. He's the person sailing the boat. So you give it to him, and he takes care of it. And Say glory be to God.
Always glory be to God. I remember a family that met me one day in Athabasca. That should be around 30 years ago. And the lady said something. And I said, to God be the glory. She said, like, is it a common language in your country? I said, no, it's like something that reigns in my family, something we use more often. To God be the glory. And I'm going to ask you a few questions because we have our viewers. Some of them are married long enough. Some of them have been married longer than you and I. Some of them are married for like, say, 10 years. Some of them are about to go into a relationship. And I will tell you, I have a lot of questions that most of them have sent me emails. And they really need, some said, is marriage for me? And some do ask questions. My spouse, especially my man, behaves this way. Is it a sign that I should go on, or is it a sign that I should not go on? Take, for instance, what would you tell young ones that are intending to go into a relationship, especially when the person is a Christian? The lady, like one of the emails, the lady is a dedicated Christian. And the man she wants to marry to, the man is not a Christian. And she's struggling. She came from a very Christian home. And her parents, everyone is telling her that is not well for you. That is not the best person for you. So what do you think you want to advise this sister in terms of the man that is not that he's not a Christian, but he's not dedicated. He doesn't take the things of the Lord very serious. And he loves him. She loves him, but she's struggling to be committed seriously into marriage. What do you think you advise such sisters? Because she is just one, but a lot of people, this might change their views.
Well, from what I've seen in my life so far, it looks as if most of us who are in the science world or mathematics also, it doesn't have a formula. But what I also know that if you make up your mind and if you're really in love, you're ready to go for it, and remain prayerful that good Lord takes control. There's nothing God doesn't do. And no, it's not always easy for somebody to change his faith, but I also know that with God, all things are possible. So if you're ready for it, you're prepared, your mind tells you. Let me take it back a little bit from what I tell people. I tell people, I tell the boys, the guys that come to me, the day you see your wife, you will know. And I also said, guys, the day you see your spouse, you will know. I don't know how to explain it, but I did have an idea, and the day I saw my wife, I knew about it, and I've spoken to some people about it. I think it worked. So if within you deep down, your spirit have told you that this is your better half, then go for it, and let God take control of the rest.
Okay, like you said something, unfortunately, this is a hot seat for you. You don't like this hot seat, but I will allow you to sit on this hot seat. You said something like when you saw your wife, you knew she was your wife. Because you have that conviction. Did you kind of pray before that God give me the grace to know my wife whenever I see my wife, or something you believed within you that I believe when I see my wife, I would know my wife?
Yeah, I prayed for it. That's a good one you remember. Yes, I have always prayed for it. Most of us, my father personally was not successful in marriage. He did marry one at a time. I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6, one at a time. And then because we look so much alike, people, and growing up as a young man, people have always said, this one, he'll be like his father, and so growing up as a kid, he got into me, and I started talking with my dad. He said, look, if you don't do any other thing, try to do this, be successful in marriage. And I started talking to God then. Not that I was very prayerful, but somehow it was in my mind that good Lord guide me towards this journey, that when I see my wife, that I should know, and that was what happened.
That's very interesting. Viewers, I love my father-in-law so much. I missed him. May God rest his soul. I really, really miss him so much, because his memory is something I will never forget. Remember he called me 2 days before he passed on, or early hours of the day he passed on, and we chatted so much. It's a memory I will hold so dear, and I will always appreciate God for it. Another question I know that some have asked me, which is one of the discussion, part of the chapter of my book I'm writing now, is what would you advise young men in terms of finance. I'm going to break it the way you understand it. You have this young man, very successful career-wise. You have this young lady, very successful career-wise. But one of the biggest problems they face in their marriage is finance. They have issues about money. You know, judging from our experience over the years, what do you think you bring to the table and how they can look at this and see it not to be a problem, per se?
Well, I don't know if I understand the finance part very well, or if I know much about it. But what I also know that, again, you pray that God guide you. Because personally, I got married when I was broke. So possibly when I was very buoyant and maybe flamboyant, if I decided to marry, then maybe I would have missed it. I don't know. But the bottom line is truth, you know, being straightforward, being truth. With anything you're doing, be it finance, be it anything, being straightforward. So being rich, having money should add value, not the other way around. But again, it depends on the wisdom. For me, maybe I think again I see it as God guidance. Maybe at that point, when I was buoyant, if I go into my maybe I didn't have the wisdom, and maybe it would have worked. Again, who God is infinite mercy, who feel to the level of my wisdom for what I have, that the best way for me then would be to do this when I'm broke. So everybody doesn't have to get broke because get broke so that I can get married. But then tell the truth. If you have money, if you can, if your wife, if it's joint account, you'll be. Again, there could be somebody who, both of you know who is who has a better management of funds, so he can take that role and manage the funds for both of you. But otherwise, if you see it's going to be a problem, you can be by your own. But what I've understood in life, really, nothing has a formula. There's no formula to anything. It's what your mind, let your guts, you know, just guide you. But the bottom line is openness. Be open to each other.
That's very amazing. And that's the acronym of UFEDO. The very last one, the O, is openness. You mentioned something that maybe they should look at the person that have good management of wealth. Viewers, honestly speaking, I might have my MBA, is very amazing. I manage wealth, but he is super. He is the person that I call what is the word I always use about it? Know how to play around with money. That's the language we always use in the house. He knows how to play around with money. It's a very smart one that you do that. And that's why when it gets to that area, I allow you to be, because you take a better decision for our family. Okay, some of our viewers, and some have sent me personal emails, and they look at they have children, but they realize they don't agree on the same thing with their spouse. Maybe when they say, okay, you're not going to play your game for the next 1 week, the children will go to dad, and dad will say, why would you tell them not to play their game? I spend my hard-earned money to buy this. What do you think you will tell such a person? Because it's like trying to tear their family apart. What would be your advice?
Yeah, my take on that is that the spouses, the husband and wife, should never conflict each other on the decision towards the kids. You may think differently, but if your better half has always taken a decision on what it has to be done, you have to accept it. You can go to the room and correct her, tell her, look, you would have done it the other way. But once she has taken that decision, that decision stays. You have to align. Both of you should always align. Never contradict yourself when it comes to chance of breaking. It doesn't have value.
Okay, if I've lived with you for 24 years. Going to 25 years, and it's been an amazing experience. And viewers, maybe what I will chip in here is, my husband and I had this discussion a long time ago, that the children, whatever, each time the children will come to him, there is something, a question he always threw at them: what did mommy say? And sometimes the kids, maybe they will go to daddy and they will come back to me and they will say, oh, I went to daddy and daddy said this, daddy said that. And you know, I kept on telling my kids, you have to learn to have one voice with your spouse. It goes a long way. So if you're a couple, from my own perspective, if you're a couple and you're living together, The children will know your voices independently. They will know what mommy will say and they will know what daddy will say. Take, for instance, my kid will come to me and they will say, Mom, I want to go and tell daddy this, but I need your video power. I need you to come up for me. I don't want, I know daddy's going to send me to you. But even if daddy have to come back, remember, Mom, I'm counting on you. And sometimes I do say, are you kind of trying to bribe me? Say, no, Mom, daddy will still send us back to you. I am letting you know about this. Because what happens here is they will go to daddy. Or even when I say, don't do this, sometimes most of the time they can't go to daddy. Because that is crossing the line. If I say, don't do it, and sometimes they will turn to daddy. Daddy said, you will not do it. So that's what my husband is trying to lay here, that both of you should always have one voice. Whenever you say something, stick to it. Don't try to run down the other person, or don't try to say, oh, it's my hard-earned money. It is our money, not one person's money. It is our money put together. Thank you so much for that. And my very second to the last question, because I have 2 questions more for you. My second to the last question is, what do you think? How do you think you advise couple in terms of investment and running a home?
I don't think I understand the question, but what I'm gonna
run it again.
Okay, let me tell you what I think. If you're talking of what they should invest in, or it depends on the risk potential.
No, what I mean is investing in the sense that some of them don't believe that they have to invest with their spouse. They believe they have to invest on their own separately. Like you look at a woman say, that house is mine, that house is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Instead, what would you advise them in terms when they want to invest something in their family?
Well, okay, it doesn't have formula, but the advice would be for them to work together. They should work as a team, because like the common saying, 2 good heads are always better than one. When they discuss as a team, bring their ideas together, it will always add value. If they go different ways, then the value from the other party will not add to this, and the value from this will not add to the other party. So 2 good heads are better than one. It's always good for them to discuss and do self-criticism on their own, and before they go ahead with it. The bottom line is what's their risk potential. So they have to understand their risk potential. So if, from my experience in life, again, everything that has advantages has disadvantages. I take a lot of risk. Some friends call me undertaker. So if you're but in real life, if you're not meant for that, don't do it, because it will wound you. But if you are used to taking risks, fine, but operate moderately, more than your actual risk potential. So if both of you are discussing together, of course, maybe the husband maybe the wife is risk averse. That's the other way. The husband is somebody that takes high risk. Then they have to settle on the middle way, and that will reduce their overall risk. So the bottom line is to work together.
That's unity. Work together. Have the same understanding. Wow, I like that. And my very last question to you is this. There are some men that struggle so much. In fact, one of the viewers sent me a personal message and said, I've been having challenges with my wife, but I can't come to terms to tell my wife I'm sorry. He said he cannot bring himself so low to tell his wife he's sorry. And I told him, no, that's the only way you can fix it. But I know he will listen to you. He will hear you speak. But can you tell him over the years, how has this helped you and I in our relationship? I know we've had a lot of couple we try to advise as the journey in their relationship. And we know one way or the other we've used this as a key word, humility in their relationship. What would you advise this, my viewer that said he cannot come to them to say, I am sorry to his wife?
Well, I don't know why he feels that difficult for him. It depends on what he wants in life. I think most of us, sometime in my life, I think I shared it with the kids the other day. The word humility is a rare virtue, and that's what everybody has to strive for. If you are humble, so many good things comes with it. So, and charity, they say, starts from home. So if you don't demonstrate this humility at home, how do you take it out? And coming about saying sorry is so simple. The truth is, the sorry even comes back to you. More often, when you say sorry to your wife, she also says sorry to you. even what you feel you were doing wrong. Maybe you were wrong and you say sorry. She even says sorry to you for, the way she has reacted. Both of you becomes happy. So if you just $1, both of you are sharing 50 cents. So you can't go wrong when you say sorry. And it humbles you. It makes you happy. It frees you. And if you can do it at home. So supposing if you do something at work, you do something wrong in your team, so you can't apologize to your team. If you can't apologize to your team, if you can apologize to your team at work, so why can't you apologize to your spouse at home? Which is the primary place where this humility has to start from. So if you don't have it, then you are missing a lot. It is a key to. I told my kids again. I always refer to that. I had an experience some time ago. That was outside. To tell you, if you can add value at home, you can also add at home. Where I had a bus. I was entering a bus. I was to enter a bus in the village a long time ago in Iseluku. If any of you know where that place is, the guy said he's not going to take me. I said, okay, I closed the door. The guy shouted, why do you close my door like that? I said, oh, I'm very sorry. The guy was trying to be aggressive, but he melted right away. He said, no, come, I'll give you a ride. I said, no, don't worry, I'm okay. He said, no, just please come. The guy stopped. I had to come out of the vehicle to tell me to come. So, and eventually I entered. We started discussing and struck a relationship just for simple, I'm sorry. If when I slammed the door, when I closed the door, he felt I slammed it. I didn't think I did. But the guy had something going on with him. So it's the same thing, especially talk about your home. So if you say you're sorry, it messes the whole situation. So you can never go wrong with saying that you're sorry. It humbles you, it makes you happy, it takes care of your side. And not only at home, if you do it at home, of course, you take it outside. And you can never lose. It's a surplus when you say you're sorry.
I love you for this. I have one. I'm not going to ask you another one. This is just the very last one. My very, very last, across my heart, the very last one is, how were you able to deal with me for this long? I know I am stubborn. I know I could be nasty sometimes, but what is the secret? A lot of people have asked me this question, especially some of them that knows me very well. They say, we're just imagining how you worked with Max this long. How were you able to deal with me for this long, going to 25 years? Just some of them are out there so eager to know your secret.
And I don't know if I understand who deals with who deal with who.
You dealing with me that is very stubborn. Everyone knows I'm very stubborn.
But everybody has his own challenges, but I don't think so. It depends on what they call stubbornness. I don't understand. But to me, we'll be happy and we understand each other. And they ask how were you able to deal with me too? Because everybody has his own challenges. And the good news is, we keep understanding each other. Again, this takes back to that. I'm very sorry because everybody, we all have our challenges in life. Everybody has his own tough times or challenging moments, and you can do something that's not the best. And immediately you understand that, you say you're sorry and you move on. So it's both parties. So if there's any magic I used to deal with you, you must have used the same magic to be able to deal with me too. So maybe mine it was even more serious. So it's I don't know if maybe the question would be the other way around. How were you able to deal with me?
No, it's you. How were you able to deal with me? And I just want, on this note, I want to say thank you so much, Obim, for being part of this. I actually brought you to the place that is not your comfort zone, and I really, really appreciate it. And so, my viewers, I want to say thank you so much. And as you celebrate your Valentine today, I want to wish you the best. If you have not in any way please remember to say I love you to your partner. Remember to tell your partner how much you love him or her. Remember to give them a hug, a kiss, I know a lot of you might not go out to buy a gift for them, but I just want to let you know that today is a day you appreciate them. Today is a day you make them feel special. Today is a day, if you can't do anything, I know some of you might not have the opportunity to cook food for your partners, but today is a day that I want you to look at them and say, I love you and I appreciate you. Until we meet again, I still remain your girl, Amaka. God bless you.